just eating, but I didn't expect anyone to show up. Most of the stuff on the side of the grill is completely black because I waited too long to eat it. I didn't know that I had to be quick. I'm a very slow eater, and I'm also not very hungry. And I came to a Korean barbecue by myself, so like, the timing is kind of wild. But it's not like I can just go anytime I want. I don't even know if we have any in Ottawa. I think we have a Japanese one. Yeah, literally so much of it got burned. But I think there's just a lot of food for one person. Also, I don't know, I've had so much stress and anxiety from this little vacation. I came from Ottawa at midnight on a bus, and it was torturously awful. I was supposed to get there way earlier. Like the apartment I'm staying in was from 3 p.m. on Friday, and I got there literally past 6 in the morning. And then I was completely exhausted, obviously, and you know, being on like really high anxiety levels for so long also is very exhausting and draining when you actually get to a place where you can relax. You just completely flop over. It's just like, especially like needing to sleep at the same time as being extremely stressed out and anxious, and then having a bus ride for 5 hours, longer than 5 hours, at midnight, just sitting in that little seat. And then at one point it started to smell like the toilet, like just throughout the bus it just smelled like a toilet. It just smelled like literally a sewer. I was just sitting there trying to relax a little and just sniffing sewer smell like the whole time. I didn't even know I was this anxious still, stressed out. I don't know what it is. Anxiety probably. That's terrible timing because like it makes you have no appetite. But I was really hungry while I was walking here. And it took me a really long time to get here because I got really lost. Because Google Maps doesn't work pretty much anywhere in Toronto. It just never works. It just glitches constantly. It's like rerouting and telling me to go to all these, and like the arrow, the GPS arrow where I'm supposedly located keeps jumping around all the time. It's actually almost impossible to use Google Maps because it will tell you you're going the wrong way just randomly, even though you're going in a straight line. It'll just randomly tell you you have to go somewhere else, which is the wrong way. They're just giving you the wrong directions all of a sudden for no apparent reason. So that's literally my whole, and I get lost so easily anyway. Can you imagine what it's like for me in Toronto with no Google Maps? And even the Google Maps exists, but it like actually makes me more lost because it tells me to go places I'm not supposed to go all the time if I try to use it. I have to like try to read the map. And I'm not a map reader, so I don't know how to read maps. And I get lost so easily that it just never works. I don't know, man. I don't know how people live here because this is not a problem in Ottawa. Usually it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually it works. But here it's like, it's almost impossible. Like anywhere I go, it's the same problem. I've been getting incredibly lost this whole time, and it's really cold outside. And there's like a really powerful cold wind, and I'm just walking in the open air. Wow, this is actually crunchy. The corn, it turned black and crunchy. Okay. But this means that I've been outside for hours in the cold. Literal hours just being lost. Even coming here, I was out over an hour. Maybe even closer to 2 hours. I don't even know. Or at least an hour. Trying to figure out where to go and then trying to figure out how to get there. And then I was walking in a straight line looking for the location. It didn't give me a number for some reason. But then later on I saw the number. So there is a number. Like there's an address. Okay. Did it die just now? It was giving me the weak network connection message, which is baffling. I'm sitting still. I know mobile data, the signals change, but if you're sitting completely still in a building, why would it suddenly drop? It makes no sense. They didn't give me any water, and I feel like I need water. Maybe I should ask for water next time someone comes by, because I feel like that's not helping with the no appetite situation. Yeah, because it's so greasy as well. Like you need water, I feel like. Something about restaurants, I think it just gives me a lot of anxiety. So it all came back to me when I got here. Like I was fine walking around. Probably because it's so cold and the wind was just blasting me the whole time. Like it really, it's very physically soothing and like, it's really good for my mental health to be really cold because it like calms down my body and calms down my brain. So it kind of shuts down a little bit. So it shuts down all those crazy feelings. But then I got indoors and I sat down and like my stomach is just roiling with anxiety now. It's so bad. It's like this is like an eating challenge for me. I ate like a few little things and I was full. I was like, no, I like literally just can't eat now. And usually I'm always hungry. So I don't even know how that works, but I think it's just being in public is stressful. Restaurants are stressful. Well, I'm very slow, so not that well. What's the, okay. Yeah, I've been here for like 2 hours or longer. No, an hour and a half. I don't know when I got here, so maybe like 2 hours or an hour and a half. But it's hard. I don't have anyone to help me eat, you know? You have to order a lot for one person. Like the portion of meat you have to order is a lot. For one person like me who's not hungry. I'm just gonna have to do a challenge. It's the only way. I'll power through it. I got so lost yesterday more than once. I don't even know what happened. It was telling, like, it doesn't tell me, like, it's not clear which bus stop I'm supposed to be at, or train, trolley, streetcar stop. I don't know which streetcar stop I'm supposed to be at. And it's so confusing. And there's so many different places I could potentially be. And Google Maps obviously is really bad at figuring out where I am specifically. I feel like there's not even a number. Like, in Ottawa, they have numbers on all the bus stops. But here it's like, there's no number, and I don't know, like, if I'm at the right place. Maybe it's just because the directions, it doesn't say which direction that streetcar is going. It just says the number on it. So I don't even know, like, which direction it's going. So I don't know if I'm on the right side of the street. So I think maybe I could just eat a piece of lettuce. Lettuce has water in it, right? My hands are dirty. I don't want to touch it. Oh, they're big. It's for wraps, but I don't think I can. I'll pick it up with my chopsticks. Oh God, I need to wash my hands. I'm just gonna cut it up, or try to. I just want some lettuce. That might be a little refreshing. No, I think I'll feel a lot better about the food I've been eating for so long. I've just been microwaving a bunch of Indian food because they have those microwavable packets at grocery stores, and it's really cheap and it's delicious. It's really well seasoned. Well, I mean, most of them are really good. Some of them aren't, but most of them are. So there's like a good variety, but you have to put it in the microwave. And sometimes you put the packet in, and sometimes you have to empty it into a bowl, and it's like it sprays everywhere. Not always, but I feel like it tends to spray all over the place when you're microwaving it in the bowl, so it's really annoying. So I definitely would rather have the ones that you can just put the packet in the microwave and not make a giant mess every time you're microwaving the food. Seasoned lettuce. I think that's kind of good. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been to... The only barbecue I've had like this is the Japanese place, and that's takeout. I got it delivered. So they already cook it. Obviously, you're not sitting down to eat it, so it's a lot different. Completely different. Like, none of this applies. I got some rice, some meat, and some side dishes, but it was already cooked. There's no way I'm handling any food with my fingers that are exposed to the Toronto bacteria. I've already been sick so many times just the last several years, just constantly getting sick. And sometimes it's really awful, like the sheer exhaustion, like I literally can barely stay awake sometimes. It's really bad. And I've probably been infected with every single COVID strain there is. I've never tested myself though. But it just seems like that's what it was. I could be wrong. I collected them all like Pokemon. And actually I have been sick recently as well. Pretty recently. So I don't know, it's like exhausting. Just constantly getting sick. So I do care about hand hygiene now. Although I did before as well. I cared for most of my life. I had hand sanitizer and then I kind of stopped caring so much. But now I'm caring again because I'm really tired of losing days or even weeks of my life to being sick. I have no energy to function at all. Even normally I have no energy, or very little. Or it's like taken up by like anxiety and stress and depression. So it's not like I have a normal person energy level at any time. So being sick like that just makes it so much worse. I'm just constantly exhausted and mentally and physically drained at the same time. Oh yeah, oh my god, the COVID fatigue. I could barely like stand up because I was so exhausted just from standing upright. And this is multiple times I've had this happen to me. So I'm definitely over it. Very much over it. I wonder if it's ever going to stop. Are they just going to go on forever now? I don't even know. That's such a dark thought. That's just going to keep going forever. New strains constantly being invented. And then everyone gets sick all over again. And it just keeps going forever. It's just like a loop, basically. But yeah. The way I get lost, I don't know why I forgot about it. Like, the buildings maybe block the GPS signal. I don't know how GPS works, but it glitches so badly. Constantly glitches. And it's so confusing. I end up going the opposite way of where I need to go, or I make some weird turns, or it's just always a problem. And basically I spent many hours of this so-called vacation not sleeping but wandering around completely lost, not relaxing or resting, but being very cold and very lost. And I managed to go to one location besides the theater, the Winter Garden Theater, where I was attending the 2 nights James Acaster was performing. I went to the Far Side Bar for like 2.5 hours. And that's all I managed to do. That was St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't even realize it was St. Patrick's Day. And people were getting pretty wild with the drinks at the end, especially. They're just like ordering drink after drink. And I couldn't get the cocktail I wanted in time because people kept ordering, and I didn't get to order in time. But I had 3 other ones. I just wanted to try the Double Dragon. I've never even heard of that before. I don't know what it is, but I was very interested. Because it's very exciting for me to try new cocktails. I really like cocktails, so it's really fun to try new ones. But I got there past midnight because I was lost again, of course. I think I was lost. What happened? I was a little bit lost, maybe. Also, I just took a really long time even going out to go to the bar. So actually it does make sense because I left so late. It's like, I think it was already almost midnight. And I took the streetcar, which was really slow. It's so incredibly slow. I'm like, I didn't know these were so slow, and I forgot. I don't know why I experienced this previously. Last time I was here was November, I think. So I was here in November, and I forgot what happened, I guess. But me, like, trying to go anywhere, just getting lost every time. Can't even find my way back to the apartment because I'm just so, like, the same area where I was staying the whole time, I still couldn't understand where it's supposed to be. I was trying to use Google Maps, and they were doing that thing where they keep redirecting me to various different places. And I couldn't find my way back to the literal place I'm supposed to be sleeping in, and I'm just wandering around instead of sleeping. I'm literally, like, if it's so much of my time was spent just being lost, I barely could sleep. Like, I literally couldn't sleep that much, like a few hours, and it was really anxiety and stress fueled sleep that was extremely restless. And every time I woke up, same feeling, feel like I got hit by a truck, like the horrible, like, it's like hot, kind of like you're really sick or something feeling, and it just feels like I can't breathe. I guess it's more of like an anxiety attack, which makes sense because of the anxiety and stress. Obviously, it's understandable. I would be waking up with anxiety attacks, I guess. The whole time, every time, and I didn't even sleep that much, so it makes sense that my body is just going through it massively, and I just feel awful. And what makes me feel a lot better is just being outside in the cold. I come back inside and it's like all the anxiety just floods back in, and the general terrible feeling. I guess the cold kind of cancels out most feelings just because it numbs everything physically and mentally, and it's really good for me. Like, I prefer to just be shivering. I know, getting blasted by cold wind, and be inside having anxiety attacks, you know. At least I'm outside and I'm, you know, existing within the real world and exploring a new place, even though I'm really lost. I guess you could say I have done a lot of exploring. I haven't gone to all the places I felt like going. Like, I was literally like 20 minute, something like that. Is it? I don't know. It was close. It might be closer than I remember. The TIFF Lightbox location was very close I don't know how close, but I could have easily gone to see a movie or something. I don't know what the hell goes on there. I guess movies, because it's a film festival. That makes sense, it's movies. But I was too busy having anxiety, being really stressed out, and wandering around being really lost constantly for hours. And so I barely got sleep, let alone actually go to fun places. I feel like this often happens with me. The anxiety just kicks in so powerfully. It's because I have a hard time like with schedules and trying to get places on time, and it just takes me forever getting ready and all that shit. So I have a really hard time getting out the door in the first place. And then if I'm completely lost when I'm out the door, well, by the time I get there, it's too late. But, you know, I'll remember the walking around. That's the only memory I'm gonna have. Well, I went to see the comedy shows, but other than that, it's just mostly just walking in the cold, getting blasted by freezing cold winds for hours. And seeing the sights and enjoying all the interesting buildings. There's so many interesting, like the architecture is definitely incredible. There's so many different types and art as well. The art everywhere, the sculptures and graffiti and I don't know, just like really strange looking, interesting things that we don't have in Ottawa. Ottawa is so much less interesting when it comes to buildings and arts. Just the sheer massive scale. Probably why it blocks the GPS signal so badly is because there's so many buildings and they're all extremely massive, or many of them are. They're like just incredibly tall. They're basically blocking out most of the sky at that point. I wish I would have asked for water earlier. I think anxiety and stress are also very dehydrating, so I feel very dehydrated. But I will be eating this lettuce. It's actually very good for you. Not romaine. No, not iceberg. Iceberg is the one that's like pretty useless, but actually iceberg would be better in this situation because it's full of water, and that's why it's kind of useless for nutrition, is because it's just mostly just water and very little other things in it besides water. But it's very hydrating for that reason too. Like I think maybe it's I'm not used to like dealing with so much anxiety and stress because I don't do much in my life ever, which is probably like it explains why people don't do things. Now that I think about it, it's like if you're suffering with so much anxiety and stress every time you try to do anything, like the way I try to do things, it makes sense that you would just give up and not want to go anywhere or do anything because it's so stressful and it feels terrible, like you suffer a lot. Because your mental health sucks. It just makes it a huge challenge. Like, it's a challenge to overcome, to go out places. But I do find ways to enjoy every time I go outside, no matter what the occasion is. Like, just being outside is really fulfilling for me. And I do try to go outside every day, at least for a walk. Because the indoor air is really musty and stale, and I think it's actually bad for my mental health, because it just, the second I go outside, it feels incredibly different. I can feel how much better it is for me to be outside. And it doesn't matter where I go. Like, I could literally just sit outside and I would still feel so much better. Like, I don't know what it is. My mind just, like, creates a feeling of being imprisoned when I'm inside a building. But yeah, it has been brutal because it was so important to me, this little vacation. Like, the whole reason I came here was to see James Acaster. He's my second favorite comedian after John Mulaney on Coke. That's the peak, but he's my second favorite. And I was trying to make it really count. I make it as good an experience for myself as I could, but I was just trying to barely just able to even get to the theater on time. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. and I'm struggling like crazy. Because I was trying to prepare a bunch of letters for him, and I thought, I'll just, be at the apartment and I'll write it all out and do all my stuff there. Give it to him, no problem. And then I literally didn't accomplish any of that. I barely even ate anything this whole time. And now I'm realizing it makes sense. It's like if I were going to try to eat something, it would be like this. Like, I'd be immediately full the second I start eating. A lot of the time, because I'm so stressed out. Yeah, but I liked to think of myself as someone who can just go with the flow. I know I get so easily stressed out by everything, but I think I was fooling myself because I normally just go outside and I don't do anything. I'm just outside, just wandering around, which is the easiest possible thing you could do. Just go outside. No goals, no schedule, nothing. No need to accomplish any task. You're just outside and that's already the task. You just accomplished it just by leaving the house. And trying to get places on time with severe ADHD. Anyone who has it knows exactly what I mean. It's almost completely impossible. My mind just blanks. Time flies, or it flows in a way I don't understand or realize. And I always, like, every time I underestimate how long it'll take me to do something. The only time I'm good at getting places quickly is when I'm walking, because I walk really fast. That's the only way. But then I actually have to start walking to begin with, which means I have to get outside, which means I have to get ready, which takes forever. And I always leave everything to the last minute, no matter what I'm doing. Can you imagine, like, I was preparing for months, like, planning how it would work for this, because I knew about it, I think in the beginning of January, that he was going to perform here. I don't know what, I'm dripping on my pants. Oh my god. Oh no. And I just washed them. Freshly laundered. They weren't even dry when I put them on. And they're dirty again. but I don't know what this means. Like, maybe I should just enjoy being outside. And I don't know how to figure out how to go to events and things, because I'm so bad with schedules that it's literally just a nightmare of anxiety and stress every time. Like, no matter what, even if I'm just trying to go to a movie, just go see a movie, even that is like an actual massive challenge. And the only reason I got to the theater before the show started both days is because I rushed out of there without like doing everything I normally would do to get ready. Because I like get really obsessive over skincare. I like keeping my face really smooth, and you know, I like to use a toner with a cotton pad to make my skin like really smooth, like free of dead skin. But it takes a really long time because it's like a gentle exfoliation. I'm not like scrubbing my face with a washcloth. That's really bad for you. So I don't do that. But it's a really long process. He's doing double messages again. What the hell? Like, it's such a long process. I'm like, you would think I was doing like 13 steps in skincare with how long it takes me. I don't even understand. Oh no, what is happening? Well, I guess it's completely fucked now. I think my phone is over. Oh, it's fine. It was actually glitching on my screen. It usually doesn't show me when it's fucking up on my screen. I think that has to do with processing versus the internet bandwidth, though. So if the video is processing wrong because my phone is too hot, then I think that's when it shows up on the screen. But if it's glitching, like pixelating or cutting out because of internet, then I won't notice. I don't know where this is. 300 something Yonge Street. This is actually really close to the theater as well. I should have come here earlier. I was at the theater, the Winter Garden Theater, 2 nights. And this place is really close. But asking me to figure out my location or how to get anywhere, even in Ottawa, that's a challenge. The place I've been living in since 2001, it's still a challenge. When I'm downtown, it's just too complicated. It's just too much happening, and my brain can't process all of it. And then I blank out, and I can't figure anything out. I have to use Google Maps, but it actually works in Ottawa, and here it makes me more lost a lot of the time. So I can't even explain, like, every time I go anywhere here, I'm lost. Every single time I've tried to go anywhere, and it doesn't matter where, how close, even 4 minutes away, I still get lost. 4 minutes, I still, like, I can't even figure out which direction to turn. Like, I don't know which way to even walk to start the trip. And this one too, I was saying earlier that I was walking in a straight line. You would think I don't get lost walking in a completely straight line. And I literally told myself in my head, you're walking in a totally straight line. How are you going to get lost? There's no way. This is perfect. And then I ended up walking like 13 minutes too far, and then I had to turn all the way back and walk all the way back. Damn, I should have asked for water earlier. I've been abandoned. Now I'm so dehydrated. But I'm gonna eat the lettuce. The lettuce will not dehydrate me more. This is possibly like one of the worst times to do this. For the first time especially, like, this is just like a terrible way to start the experience. With just like a truckload of anxiety and stress. And then I realize almost as soon as I start eating that I actually have no appetite. Like, I ate a little bit and then my appetite disappeared. Or even normally I eat really slowly a lot of the times. It's just I'm also dehydrated and stressed out and anxiety. No appetite. Okay, I'll see what the messages are. How much is the food in Bitcoin? How would I know that? That's a very unlikely that restaurant accepts Bitcoin. I don't think so. Oh, can I get water?
Okay, I'll bring water.
I guess I was not anticipating how much food it would be or how it would affect me. I don't know. I think I'm used to eating the Indian food. That's all I mean, like most of it. Most of what I eat is Indian food.
Water.
Thanks. And it's mostly plant-based, so it's not very filling. It doesn't clog up my stomach that much. You know, I feel like when you eat meat, you get full really fast. So it just clogs up your stomach. I don't know why, but it's different from plant protein. Like beans, I can eat a lot of beans. Beans in like a stew or something, I can just knock it back really easily. But meat, I have a really hard time. I think it's like, I just don't digest it very easily. I don't know what it is. Well, here we go. We got it. Oh, and I spilled it. That's nice. I would say mostly this trip has been a complete disaster. I've kind of enjoyed myself anyway, but it has been a total fucking nightmare disaster. Roller coaster shit show. Fuck fest. Dogecoin? I don't know, you'll have to ask them. I do not enforce currencies anywhere. Even the show, seeing James perform and trying to talk to him has also been a massive mixed bag. And I never got to give him the letters I wanted to because I didn't have them to begin with. And when I did have them, it turns out he already left the second night. He already left the venue. And I stood outside for like an hour just in case he would show up somehow. I was like just like standing there getting progressively more cold, shivering like crazy. And I was like, wow. I feel like it's like the more, it's like a sunken cost theory. The more time I invested in it, the worse it got, because it felt like now I can't leave. Because this is all for nothing. And after an hour, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can't just stand here forever, so I had to give up at that point because I was actually so cold that I couldn't stand it. I was like, my whole body was just shuddering like crazy because I was so cold. Yes, Elon Musk. He is quite a foolish individual. You could say. I mean, have you seen the memes like that he thinks are funny? It looks like something a 12-year-old boy would share on 4chan. Like, what? That's actually terrifying that he has so much power and wealth when he's an actual immature 12-year-old boy brain moron. But somehow he has all this money and power. Well, I have this here, red wine. But the jug is just water. I think I have cotton mouth from stress. I get so stressed out that my mouth feels like incredibly dry. And then not only do I not have an appetite, but I also like have a hard time even forming saliva to help digest the food. So it just makes it so much worse. I'm not very good at existence. I think I've come to that conclusion. I don't know how to live at all. Who was it? Audio Slave? Chris Cornell saying, "Show me how to live," and I relate to that song on such a deep level. I have no idea how to live at all. And I don't think he ever figured it out because he killed himself, right? So I feel like he never figured out how to live. And I think that's me too. I don't think I'm ever going to figure it out. The problem is, this world is such a dystopian capitalist nightmare. Suffering is just a feature of the system. It's like designed for that. Most people are supposed to suffer, so a few people can have like a bunch of money they don't need. And they don't really do anything good with it a lot of the time. A lot of the time they might do bad things with it. And in the end, it's just a horrible place to try to exist in this world. It is like the amount of stress just from daily life and technology and everything and social media. I certainly don't think I'm ever going to figure it out because the thing is, the world itself is the problem. It's not me. I don't think Chris Cornell or me, I don't think we're the problem. Or Kurt Cobain or Avicii or Robin Williams, you know, all those people. Kate Spade too. She designed handbags and she killed herself too. I mean, even people who have like so much money and respect, and like surely lots of people in their life are really loving. Like,
Can I change the grill?
okay. But even with all that, like, seemingly having everything going for you, mental health can still destroy you. And I just think the amount of stress in our modern life, we're not designed biologically to handle it. We haven't evolved.
Do you need anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah, evolution has not caught up to modern life, so that the problem is that we haven't evolved nearly to the extent that we would have needed to handle modern life, which is why everyone's so stressed out and there's so much mental illness. And it's just, it's a horrible existence. It's like, hello. It's the opposite of peaceful and relaxing, basically. And I'm definitely not someone who has much hope of overcoming that, like the massive obstacles in my way. So I have to do my best to enjoy life in whatever way I can. But a lot of the time, I'm just outside by myself. And anything I do besides just going outside by myself, not using public transit, just physically transporting myself wherever I want to go without having to rely on the garbage public transit system in Ottawa. Anything besides that, instant stress and anxiety. Like, I always have problems with it. Every time I try to go anywhere or do anything outside of just running, walking, or biking, those are the only things I'm good at doing. I'm really good at those. I can do that for many hours. I don't get tired easily. I have so much energy. It feels amazing to me. It feels like I've taken such good care of my mental and physical health when I just go outside for hours. I feel much better afterwards, or at least in the moment I feel better. But I don't know, man. I don't probably medication. Being unmedicated probably doesn't help if you're suffering a lot. But at the same time, medication doesn't solve capitalist dystopia itself. And if capitalist dystopia is the problem itself, and my environment, not me that's the problem, but my environment that's the problem, how am I supposed to take medication for the environment around me? The environment needs to change, not me. Which I'm sure is something Dr. K has said many times. You have to change your environment. I saw a screenshot or something on Twitter where he talked about it. He was saying this person who was getting therapy from him was suicidal, but Dr. K was saying how it makes sense he was suicidal because of how awful his life was, which is crazy and so dark. Like, an excellent psychiatrist would say that. Although it's nice to hear someone, like a professional, especially a well-regarded professional, admit that sometimes it's not all in your head. Like, your mental health is a reaction to your environment. Sometimes. Maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's just in your head. But in that case, it was the environment that was the problem. The whole life situation. Not just like random brain misfiring. So yeah, it's really hard to overcome the challenges of modern life and exist in a way that's somewhat peaceful, enjoyable, relaxing, fulfilling. We don't have the energy for that. I certainly don't. Most people don't. Most people have the energy to barely survive, and that's pretty much how we live. Yeah, it was on Twitter. I see so much random shit on Twitter. It's one of those places where you never know what you're going to see next, which is unfortunate, I would say. It's like any random shit could just pop up and ruin your day at any time. There's no warning. It's just like whatever anyone wants to put out there could be shown to you with little moderation, it would seem. Very little in the way of like organizing the various contents. Like you can't just like block out block the negativity on Twitter. Like, you can't just press a button to block all the negative things on Twitter. You can't press a button so you don't get traumatized by, you know, seeing people die or people being violent with each other or like horrible things happening in general. And just like really miserable, depressing things and people saying terrible things all the time. I mean, and that's mixed in with like videos of cute animals and people celebrating life journeys and just like it all exists in the same place, and it's like such a clusterfuck. Is not organized at all. Like, there's no organization. Like, you follow an account, but the account can post whatever they want. I guess I don't only follow funny people. I wish I did. I don't know who's even funny to me on Twitter. Like, most of the time it's just social issues and, you know, mental health struggles that I look at. And, you know, Twitch streaming news and updates and YouTube problems and all that stuff. I like reading about the way YouTube works, like how people have such a hard time making money, even if they're pretty well known on YouTube, because it's just the algorithm is just so difficult to ever comprehend or work with, because they don't really know how to beat the system. Basically, it's really difficult. And for as long as I've been watching YouTube, almost as long, I can remember people complaining about, you know, getting demonetized and their videos not being put out to people. And it's still a problem, so it's just like a constant struggle. And I just read about it all the time. I don't know. Weird random things interest me. The way people make money online is kind of fascinating. Like, not having a physical location to go to work. And you're basically self-employed, and you could like get in trouble for some reason online, and then suddenly your revenue just drops and you have to go find a part-time job somewhere. Okay, so I should probably look in here more. Because I know what Elon's up to, because everyone's constantly talking about it for some reason. I don't really care. There's not a lot that I genuinely care about, though. The weird random things, I do care about the weird random things. I can't explain, like, what exactly I'm going to be interested in. Like, I can't predict it, and I can't explain exactly why I care about that specific thing. It's just random niche things that I'm interested in. And random niche people, random niche humor. Like Drew Monson, he's my number one YouTuber. He has just over 100,000 followers on Drew Monson number 2. And he's my number one, that channel. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to YouTube. It's so good. He's just constantly describing situations and feelings and talking in a way that I relate to so much. That's exactly how I feel a lot of the time, and how I talk. Like, he talks so similarly to how I talk. But I can't predict who I'm going to be interested in or what I'm going to like. And it changes. I even started listening to rap all the time now. Which I never... I liked a few rap songs, but mostly I had no interest. Now I like almost all music. There's not much music I don't like. I think most of the time it's just like the most generic stuff, I guess. Like the most brand safe sounding music that's like AI generated to appeal to as many people and offend as few people as possible. And it's just absolute garbage. So like a lot of the time, what's playing on all the like the radio stations, all the pop music. I guess pop music is like a big problem for me. Because there's a lot of pop that's really not creative. It doesn't express anything meaningful. I don't connect with it in any way. I don't feel emotions from it. Oh man. Really is an eating challenge. I'll try to finish soon. I'll just keep eating. Hopefully it won't get too bad. It's just like stress/anxiety. I don't know which one is responsible more. But it really does make me lose my appetite completely. And then I just feel no hunger signals. So my body just tells me, don't eat food. You don't want this. You know, when I try to eat something, it's like, I'll give you like, okay, I get hungry. That's the thing. I was hungry. I was pretty hungry. Like I didn't eat anything before coming here today. And I was thinking, I'm like really hungry now and I really want some food. And I took a few bites and I was completely full. So that's the way it goes, I guess. But why does it like, why do I feel so hungry and then suddenly I'm completely full after eating almost nothing? Like, why is it like that? I'm looking in the screen instead of, is that, like if I look there, is that, I think that's where, it's like in a really stupid location. It's at the bottom. It's like the bottom left corner. It's in the completely wrong location. You know what it feels like actually? All you can eat sushi. There's almost never a time with all you can eat sushi where I didn't have to like force feed myself into like painful bloating and just feeling completely sick. Like why would I even do that? Why would I want that? And it happens every time almost. Like, every time I would go it would be the same problem. I would be so excited and hungry. I wanted to try all these different things and taste all these different things. And then, you know, the hunger signals, they don't stop right away. Like, it takes a while to process, which is why you're not supposed to eat food quickly. Which I kind of feel better about being so slow because of that, but also, like, the hunger signals didn't go away in time, and then after the food showed up, I realized I can't eat anymore. Like, I'm so full. I'm like bloated. But it's like all of a sudden I'm really full. Like out of nowhere. I never expect it. It just hits me all of a sudden. But it's like with all you can eat sushi especially, you have to finish it. You can't get away with not eating it. Well, usually anyway. But I hope if I ever go back, which I haven't in years, if I ever go back to an all-you-can-eat place, I really hope that I would figure out how much food to order. Or just like eat slower maybe. Maybe I just eat slower. Just like carefully process how I feel so I don't over order and then I make myself sick by eating so much. It would have been good if I ate quickly, you know, in a reasonable, timely manner. Which I obviously did not at all. And I actually had an appetite also. Why do they put that there? Google's so weird. Like, why would they put the lens in the bottom left side? It's a very strange place because it's like, or maybe I'm just, no, I'm not doing it wrong because if I turn it the other way, then the buttons are inaccessible at the bottom. It makes no sense. So, what was I saying? I don't know. Buns bothers me. I can't look that's like a very weird place for me to look. It makes more sense if it's like at the top or somewhere where you might more naturally turn your eyes. But I don't know, they decided against it for some reason. Or talk. Feel like it's like neither for me. Should have stuck to the ASMR mukbang. It's been way too stressful. That's the problem. When I get too stressed out, I just want to calm down by like being outside by myself and listening to music. I missed so many messages at the top. That happens. Why do I feel anxiety? I think that's normal. I think it's normal to feel anxiety with the way our modern world is. I think it's weird to me that people don't feel it because there's just so much wrong. And that there's so much that could go wrong, and Everything's really fucked up in my mind. I'm like, it is clearly so fucked up the way the world is. How about I not feel anxiety at all times? I'd have to literally live in denial of reality. That's what people do, like, to feel okay. They just go inside their bubble and they try not to let outside influences penetrate the bubble. This must be how Cece Hustle felt. She was complaining sometimes about getting too much food and she can't finish it. And I was really surprised at how little she eats. Sometimes she's not much of a big eater. And usually I do feel hungry all the time. This is pretty rare for me to feel like really easily full, I guess. But, you know, it's just been too chaotic. Cortisol, that's what it is. The cortisol levels racing through the body. The adrenaline pumping, and it's just really unhealthy. It's really bad for you also. It's not like, you don't just feel bad. It's like physically damaging. So, yeah, it makes sense. It's just one of those trips, I guess, that it's gonna be kind of memorable for good and bad reasons. Although I have like so much chaos every time I try to travel. It's extremely chaotic for me. So I guess it's not just this time, but like every time, like it's not smooth sailing ever. There's always something going wrong all the time. And me just like racing around trying to get places on time and do things on time and accomplish what I wanted. So now I know if I try to do this alone, be certain you're very hungry. It's like all you can eat. It's just so much. It feels just like all you can eat sushi. It's so much food. Oh, don't fall. Lettuce. I really like the fact that I found that Indian food is I never knew what to eat that was nutritious, that I didn't have to make myself, that wasn't depressing, like a salad, like cold salad or something really miserable like that. Indian food is like the most amazing, nutritious food ever. They have it to like the perfect science of flavors because they put so much complex seasoning in it, it actually creates an incredible flavor. And it's very different from Western cuisine, obviously. Like literally the opposite, because Western cuisine is all about salt, fat, and sugar. White carbs is like most of Western cuisine. Try to chill since there's no people in chat. More ASMR, I guess. Well, I mean, restaurant sounds counts as ASMR, I think. To me, it does. Yeah, this music reminds me of watching, who is it?
Would you like some more side dishes or you're good?
Yeah, just, I'm just very slow. I think it's a lot of meat for me.
Yeah, it's kind of too much for one person, you know, because that's why I told you if you're first time or not.
Yeah.
Because mostly people cannot eat 2 servings.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know.
challenging myself to finish. If I can. That will be my success of the day, I guess. Actually, this would be cool as just its own video idea, like black and white, sort of a person sitting beside you in a restaurant POV, and you're just both silently eating for some reason. It's like if you're eating, or you just want the atmosphere of someone eating in a restaurant, I guess. I think that's kind of cool. Well, if I can't come to a restaurant alone because it's too much food, then I'll never go there. I'll just never experience it. So, therein lies the rub. You either have too much or you have nothing. But if they both have to order 2 servings, doesn't that mean they each have a lot of meat between them? They have 4. I have 2. And if there were someone else here, they would have to order 2 more. So we had 4. So that's not any less than what I have. Or more? What am I? Is it less or more? It's the same. It's not less. It's the same. It's the same portion for each person. The only thing that's different is the side dishes. Because you share them, I think. That's how it works. But like most of the sides are just vegetable type stuff. Vegetable stuff. I guess I could write it off. This particular adventure, I definitely shouldn't try to do that alone. But I don't know, because I was not expecting to be almost immediately full. And I can tell it's because I have so much stress and anxiety in my system. It prevents me from feeling hungry. And I just feel kind of sick to my stomach, so I don't want to eat, you know? It makes sense. So I don't know if I were feeling fine and actually hungry, how differently would it go for me? But, okay, also I don't eat that much food. Honestly, these days, I eat a lot of Indian food, and most of it is beans or other bean type, like plant-based protein, or the cheese. They have those cheese ones. You can't get a shelf-stable meat Indian food. So there's nothing like that. It's all cheese or plant-based, and it's not very filling. So I usually, to have like a meal, I would eat 2 of them for my meal. It feels like the fat is flying around. I mean, I can see it visibly is, so Probably getting on my phone, honestly. Wow, nothing I can do about it. Well, I could take it off, I guess. That's the only solution. Whatever. It's not like it's impossible to clean grief off your phone. Especially if it's waterproof. Both of these phones I have are waterproof, so it doesn't matter if it gets splashed or not. I mean, splashed with water. So if I use water to clean, it doesn't matter because it is waterproof. So it's not gonna damage the phone. That's what I mean. It's not gonna damage the phone. God, I think I didn't sleep enough. And I felt so much better as soon as I went outside. And then immediately, just feel awful. What is that? As soon as I sit down, it's like my body functions so differently, or it feels so different to be outside, moving around. Maybe it's the movement. I think sitting still is physically taxing on me. I hate doing it. Maybe that's the ADHD. It's like, it has like a physically painful reaction of some kind. I just feel trapped. Like I want to move around. Unless I'm sitting really comfortably, which is never the case because I don't even have a recliner. I sit on the bed and I don't think that's good for my back. It does not feel like it's good for my back, but it's literally all I have to sit on besides like one of those regular chairs, which are definitely not comfortable to sit in for a long time. I want to get a massage chair. I wish I could get a massage chair. That would be awesome. I think I tried it once, and I think the vibrations of the massage chair actually help my anxiety. Like it basically disappears because the chair is like vibrating, and somehow that physical feeling cancels out the anxiety. And I don't know how it works, but it's very powerful. I was amazed when I sat down. I'm like, why do I feel so much better sitting in this chair? Never felt that good sitting in a chair. It's like good for my mental health to sit in massage chairs. That's so strange. Oh, what the hell? How did that happen? They just stop like that now? What the hell? What's going on with this thing, man? It's too easy to fuck it up, man. Just like tap on the screen the wrong way and it does something. slouching's probably making it worse though. Feels, I don't know, like pushing in on my stomach when I'm slouching actually makes like the anxiety worse somehow. I don't know how oh yeah, there's some physical thing with that. Physical connected to the metaphysical? What is it? Spiritual? Physiological? Something about physiology. I don't even really know exactly what physiology is, but I feel like it's more what I mean when I say like slouching and my stomach getting pushed in. It feels like mentally worse to sit that way. More well suited to hot pot. I think hot pot is more my style anyway, because it's not focused on like literally barbecue. It's a soup, and I love soup. I'm a really big soup eater. I'm a big fan. I think it's definitely one of my favorite foods. And there's just endless possibilities with soup, so it works really well for variety, because like even if you're eating soup every day, there's just so many different types of soup you could be eating. You could eat a different meal for a month and all those meals would be soup. They would all be different. Also the broth, I really love the flavorful broth. I like drinking the flavorful broth. That's a big part of it for me. should have gotten the vegan. That would have solved everything. Vegan, something. I don't know. The vegan version with the vegetables and the tofu. Fried beans are pretty good. They don't usually have this much flavor to them, normally. I just remembered the name. That's what this music reminds me of. Because he streams delivering Uber or DoorDash or both. And he plays this type of music in his car. And a lot of the stream is just listening to the music and listening to driving sounds. He doesn't talk that much usually. He's just silently driving around. You can say that's a lot of ASMR as well. You know, I don't always want to listen to someone talk. Sometimes just silent existing is good enough. Or it's just a pleasant, you know, it's like a pleasant ambiance you can put on no matter what's going on around you. And it's usually people find it comforting. Or I guess most of the time they're trying to fall asleep. I can't really relate to that because I just pass out way too easily all the time. And I'm trying not to fall asleep and I fall asleep every time. I'll be like watching something.
Sorry.
No, I'm talking to someone. The observer thought I was talking to them. No, I'm talking to myself actually. Thank you very much. I have a lot to say to me. Also, I have a lot to say in general. People do not like that, generally speaking. It seems like. That's not very popular. I don't know. What are the right things to say? I don't know. Clearly, whatever I say is not the right things. Whatever is the right things, I don't know. So, what I'm saying? Oh yeah, falling asleep. I watch a show, lying in bed. I'm just trying to relax and enjoy a show comfortably. But it makes me fall asleep all the time, and I just end up like in the middle of a sentence. Suddenly I'm passed out. But yeah, I guess also I haven't slept nearly enough, and it's been very low quality. So, okay, I understand the mental and physical state is in dire straits, you could say. It makes sense to feel awful. Damn, what do attorneys do? Like, people like that who have high stress, really busy jobs, where they're just constantly working way too much. And it's like stressful, really stressful, so it's like way too much overexposure to stress. And it must be incredibly taxing physically and mentally. And I wonder what their appetites are like. Like, do they get as hungry as they normally might have? Do they eat 3 meals a day? If I had something that stressful in my life, I don't know. Sometimes I get, well, that's depression. I don't know. Sometimes I get really hungry because of mental illness, and sometimes I get not full. I lose my appetite. Or I get full way too easily, I guess, if I do try to eat something. I get full very quickly, and then I'm like, I can't even finish this one plate of food. I wonder if I could figure out where the bathroom is. There's writing in Korean. Not very helpful. Maybe it's like a style, like a village style. Kind of seems like maybe it's decorated like a village. Oh, there's a sign. Okay, I see. Yeah, there's pictures. Very easy. Very nice. I see the pictures.